think we've got everyone. I'm doing my little count here. Wait a minute. I'm going to assume that Chase and Rin are sharing a screen. And I think Elijah's going to hop on. Hi, Rin. Oh, Chase is right there. You're not sharing the screen. All right, Elijah's going to hop on. He's been feeling sick. Okay, he's here. Good morning, my friends. I'm glad to see you today. Thumbs up, down. All right, I see. Well, let's go ahead and get started with a prayer. Father God, I just ask that you would be present with us today. Help us to have an educational time. Help us to learn principles about managing money according to your will. And we just ask that this would be a time where you're honored. In your name we pray, amen. All right, so today our topic was tithing. And that is probably one of the trickiest things for Christians. So I'll ask some questions. Who does the tithe apply to? Mia.
Christians and religious people.
Okay. So if somebody is not religious and doesn't have a relationship with God, is this something that's going to hit their radar screen? Ryan?
I would say everyone should tithe
Why would you say everyone should tithe?
because it's what's it called? It helps missionaries overseas and stuff.
Okay. So those funds are used for helping others. All right. Any other ideas or thoughts about that? Lydia?
Everyone should tithe, but not everyone will.
Right. What did the article tell us about how many people who are practicing Christians tithe? Did anyone else see that statistic and get shocked? Rin, you did? Do you remember what the percentage of people who don't tithe is?
64, I think.
Yeah, I wrote it down. 75 to 90% is what they said in the article, which genuinely shocked me. So one of the reasons that number shocked me is because, well, when Isaiah and I got married, he was a youth pastor. And so we spent the first part of our life in ministry. My father had been in church ministry as a board member, and Isaiah's dad, my father-in-law, was a pastor for 35 years, a long time. And one of the principles of church leadership is that 10% of the people do 90% of the work. And I found that even when I was working in the university in secular settings, you'll always have the leaders that are willing to get their hands dirty and do the work, and they'll do most of the work. I had not realized that the same principle was at play with tithing, and that 10% of the people tithe 90%, 100% of the budget, which that is shocking to me. So, okay, anything else that was interesting and jumped out to you all about this article and about this concept? No. If you were taking this class in an environment that wasn't looking at the spiritual practice, tithing is not something that would ever even be mentioned, right? So we need to acknowledge that this is something that some people might think is absolutely crazy. And what are the reasons why from the article or from talking to your families, what are the reasons why tithing is important as a part of your spiritual discipline? Mia?
Because you're giving back money that God's provided for you. And so you're giving back that to the church or whatever so that they can help, like Ryan said, help fund other missionaries or churches or something that can help other people hear about the gospel. So you're just giving back the money that is provided for you.
Okay. Ren?
I think part of the reason it's so important is because God has set this principle of things that are worth, even going back to like Cain and Abel. And I mean, they were technically tithing when they gave their first fruits and their firstborn lambs. And so I think it's a way of taking what God has allowed you to make and given you and putting it back into the community that he wants to grow, because the church is the bride of Christ. So he wants the church to grow and to be healthy. And so by giving back 10%, we keep the church healthy. It's a part of keeping it healthy anyway.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the overall concept between what both of you said is that it all belongs to God anyway, right? So what do we deserve in this life? We don't deserve anything. And so everything we receive it was his to start with. We're just the stewards of it. And I think that is a really interesting perspective that is uncommon when people think about money and the American goal to gain money for all purposes at all costs. We're going to have a little bit different mindset than some of the people around us if you're pursuing God with your funding. One book that I will say I'll recommend to you, if I can find a video of a session from the guy, I'll send it in the email. It's called The Blessed Life by Robert Morris. And it is a phenomenal book about a guy who has given extravagantly. In his lifetime, he has given away houses, his house that he's lived in, he's given away cars repeatedly. I mean, it's just a really interesting book about this principle of not only tithing, but giving above and beyond, and then watching God provide for you. So if I can find an excerpt of one of his videos, I'll share it with you, but otherwise I'll just recommend it because it really opened my mind a lot when I first heard about it. Let's see, I feel like so I apologize, you guys. I have been up most of the night, and so my brain is not working as quickly as I would like it to work right now. I'm sorry for that. And I don't have a note for whatever that thought was. Is there anything else you would like to say in response to this article? Chase.
Well, I never heard of tithing before Melissa told me what it was, but there's another thing to do. Just make yourself feel good about giving to others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what you'll see if we talk about when you were researching your different philanthropists that were part of your assignment there, different people, they didn't always give because they were trying to honor God. They gave because it made them feel good. And knowing that you can change someone's life is a pretty significant thing. And I remember what it was. In the Old Testament, the tithe was 10% of whatever your harvest was, but there was also the instruction to not harvest the corners of your field so that the poor could come and collect their own harvest and have food. And so that's one of the things that I think about too, is if you're budgeting yourself out to the very, very last bits, you're not leaving corners in your field to harvest to allow other people to harvest. And so that's just another idea. It was the harvest principle. just takes me a little while for the thoughts to percolate through. Yeah, and also our government is set up so that people who give generously do get tax breaks. And so that's one of the things that sets the United States apart from other countries, is because it's founded on this Judeo-Christian ethic of giving to others and taking care of the needy. So that's just another piece of that puzzle. Okay. Let's go to researching our research paper. Elijah, if I draw you, I'm not going to say your name because I know that you've lost your voice. I'm sorry you haven't been feeling good. Maggie, will you tell us about your historical big giver?
So I researched Henry Ford, and since I've researched him, I've just wanted to become like, act more like him and give more like him, because he was very, that's what I got. That's what I took away, I guess. But should I read my whole paper?
It's up to you. We have enough time for you to read it all if you'd like.
Okay. Henry Ford paid his workers $5, I'm pretty sure an hour, which at that time was a lot of money to give out. Just looking at how much money he paid his workers, he appreciated his workers very, very much. Ford also hired, which isn't common, Ford hired the handicapped and mentally disabled, which was very interesting to me. Henry Ford spent most of his money on charities and even donated a large sum of money towards breast cancer. And the reason for his action to donating it to breast cancer is because his wife had breast cancer, which was a large setback in his life. Ford also founded the Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit. And in conclusion, Henry Ford really helped the society, and even though really helped the society. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Ford is like others. He made his money on cars, right? What does cars have to do with giving to people? I mean, it's just, but they took the resources that was given to them and went farther with it. I think we actually have time. I'm going to draw somebody else just for today. I pulled Elijah out, wouldn't you know it? All right, Chase. Would you share your person paper?
I did Andrew Carnegie, and I just have like how he made his money and what he did with it. But he was really into steel production, and he did a lot of stuff with steel. So he ended up creating the largest steel manufacturing company in the world. And that's how he made all his money.
Very cool. And I know that the Carnegie Mellon Institute is a college, and there's also one of the greatest music schools is a Carnegie thing. Sorry, I should stop talking. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who really wants to share something? Maybe who had Vanderbilt? Anyone? Did anyone choose Rockefeller? All right, Taylor, tell us about Rockefeller.
Let me pull up my paper on Rockefeller real quick. Okay. Rockefeller was born in 1839 on July 8th. Rockefeller was Okay, so this is the sentence I have written down. You ready? Born in 1839 on July 8th, John Rockefeller was born. I'll fix that later. His father was a farmer and his mother was a Baptist with strong morals. They moved to Ohio in 1853. After college, he got a job as a clerk, and then at 19, he started his first business called Clark and Rockefeller. Later partnering with Samuel Andrew, together they owned the largest oil refinery of their time. Andrew and Rockefeller and his brother formed the Standard Oil Company of Ohio in 1870. The next step was obviously to outbuy your competition. So he bought all of the major refineries in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and New York. His competition panicked and opened a refinery to try and slow him down, quote unquote. And in turn, that caused the panic of 1873. Rockefeller came out victorious from the quagmire in 1892. He created a second business. His total net worth amounted to a lofty $70 million. Not to say there wasn't a good bit of stumbling blocks and road bumps. Many false accusations against him tried to soil his reputation and drive customers away from his companies, but that didn't stop him from giving.
Awesome. Did anyone do Astor? Okay. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I think that it's important to remember these historical figures because they really set the tone of philanthropy within the United States. And a lot of the public services and general goods and museums and things like that are because they just decided to give because they had been blessed. So, okay, let's move on to action card reports. Are you ready? Rin, it's because your eyeballs got so big right then. Tell me about your family vacation.
Okay. So I made the assumption that I live in Colorado for the simplicity of gas mileage. I'm going horse trekking with my family. It was the simplest solution here. So it was, let's see, it was a $6,000 total for like a week, including gas mileage and hotels and our whole guided horse trip. And so the horse trip, the price includes your stay, horses, your guide, and food for that entire week. So that was just a lump sum. And then I added gas mileage, food, and one overnight hotel stay on the way home, plus lunches because you have to pay for lunches. So
I thought it was kind of fun because Ryan also planned a family vacation. And so you all had very different vacations. I like that.
mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, and Ryan is who I just chose. Ryan, tell me how to keep from getting fired for being grumpy at work.
For the third time. Okay,
Oh,
one
but you've
sec, let
had
me pull it up.
different reasons every time you've gotten fired. And
I know.
I know one day you're going to find the right spot.
No, you're not, Ryan.
I know, right? Is this it? Okay, so it's ways to express discontent. So you could say something like, I'm working too many hours, so I don't get to see my family or friends a lot, and I need to find a new job, or try and get a job where it most suits you. Like if you're athletic, then probably don't want to work a desk job, or if you're not athletic, then maybe a desk job or something like that.
Okay. So basically you don't walk up to your boss and go, I hate this job and I hate you. Okay. Sounds fair.
Unless you like being fired.
Well, some people
Touche.
do. So, you
Have to-
know,
You have to say it with better vocabulary though. I despise you and your job.
your presence is loathsome. All right, Tyler, talk to me about options available to help you be more articulate.
Okay. So when writing a paper online, like by using Google Docs, Microsoft Word, or another writing tool like that, they already have a lot of good grammar checking solutions and everything else built in. But if you want something to make your writing more like forward, neat, and just something that will like give you better peace of mind, there's more tools like Grammarly, Links, White Smoke, and a few others. For consumers and businessmen, there's not between hang on, sorry. Between paid versions and free versions, there's not really that big of a difference in price. Well, yeah, there's not much of a difference because you can get the free version and it's like it's free. And then the paid version is usually something like $5 to $10 a month. So it's not that big of a deal. The free version will get you by probably just fine, depending on what you're doing. If you're like, say, a manager of a business or something like that, and you're writing out letters to clients, I would probably go with there's usually business plans for most of them. I'll go with the business plan because it gives you more in-depth feedback and in-depth like correction on your writing for more, yeah, and to make your writing sound more formal and such.
Wonderful. A couple years ago, I was working with students that were in the science fair, and I ran all of their papers through a free plagiarism check, and I found that every single one of the papers would have failed the college standard for plagiarism and gotten an F and possibly been kicked out of school if they had been in college. So what I will say to you now, it taught me a lesson. I'm in the middle of writing a textbook, and I am running every single chapter through a plagiarism checker myself, as well as Grammarly, because it will tell you your tone and whether it's confusing and things like that. And I think that those are amazing options. And none of you should write a paper without checking it through a plagiarism checker.
Yeah. Samuel, you choose your plagiarism checker, and it said that it had 90% plagiarism.
Right. It happens really, really easily.
Yeah.
So, if any of you have done the IEW keyword outline thing, that's a great way to get the concepts and rewrite it without the plagiarism business. But when I'm just doing research papers and I'm pulling ideas, sometimes I really like the way that the people wrote it. And so in my head, it just sticks there. And then it becomes plagiarism. And so, like, for real, even if you think you're completely clear, use the plagiarism checker. It is not worth getting kicked out of college for.
And use Grammarly. That stuff helps so much.
It does. The two of those services I think are really amazing. So
I use it right now, so it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
In the school I go to, they have it built into the computer.
I think that's so smart. Maybe it makes you a less virtuous student because it's doing the work for you. I don't know, but that's one of the tools of technology that I think is fantastic. And I'm like, all the time, take that. All right, Samuel, you're my next person. Tell me about the home setting skills you need.
Okay. So pioneers, they needed probably the biggest thing for them would be self-reliance skills. Without that, you're gonna die. If you are relying on a store, say in their former town, and then they just decide one day, you know what, we're gonna move because we want to and it's free land or it's cheap land, they're gonna die. They're not gonna make it there. That free land will not be worth it. And first of all, of course, you need the mindset. You need to think, okay, I can do this. I'm going to do this. You can't just go out and I think I might be able to make it here. You're probably going to die again. So yeah, to keep yourself from dying, first of all, the largest thing was obviously finding food and water. Tracking, navigating, building a shelter, butchering, all skills that they would need as well. Tracking allowed them to find animals to butcher, and navigating allowed them to find their way home. And let's say they got lost, well, their shelter building skills would allow them to build a shelter and probably survive the next night. Preserving food would be a very helpful skill as well, since they wouldn't have refrigerators or anything like that. Basic healing skills would at least be needed for probably at least one person, probably more like at least 5 people there. At least basic, because, okay, let's say you get a cut, you need somebody who knows how to clean this cut so that it doesn't get infected, and well, now we just have to lop off your entire limb in order to keep you from dying. Homesteading principles, you need to have the correct mindset. Like I said, if you're going to build a house, you need to consider the land you're building on. Don't start building a cabin on sand. It's the same principle of the man who built his house on rock and the man who built his house on sand. It doesn't work if you build it on sand. Root cellars, you've probably heard of them. They're basically places that you can store food. That's always a good idea because you can store it safely. It'll keep it cool, at least. Having backup heating and cooking places in case, say, a fire tears down your cabin. And then becoming a jack of all trades is definitely something that you want because you're going to need lots of those skills. And then finally, just thank God that you're alive right now to be working through all this. You're not dead yet. You're muted.
JJ, you're muted.
I muted myself so I could tell my son to close the door so I wouldn't listen to him playing Minecraft and screaming. That's what happens. Samuel, I feel like you need to play the Oregon Trail. Are you familiar with that game?
I've heard of it.
I really feel like
That's
you
so fun.
would feel that in a real way. One of the most traumatic experiences of my life was playing the Oregon Trail and naming the children in the game my own children's names. Don't do that. It was very awful. That was many years ago. Mia, you did not die of dysentery. Tell me about car speeds.
Okay. Cars are expensive, and we all know that the gas prices have gone up in recent months. This makes people think about what speed is most efficient for driving your car, what will save you the most money. The Energy Savings Trust says that the most efficient speed you can travel in a car in terms of achieving the best fuel economy is 55 to 65 miles an hour. Faster than these speeds can reduce your fuel economy by up to 40%. There was not a lot to research on this. It kind of just gave you what it was, and then it started giving me gas prices in different states, and then it gave me what cars have the best miles per gallon. Usually smaller cars have the best and bigger cars have the worst, and that can range from like 45 miles per gallon to 6 miles per gallon. So there's a big range in that, and that's another reason why getting a car is kind of a personal decision, and it depends on, like, if you're going places a lot and you are going to be going on roads that are 55 to 65 miles an hour all the time, every day, then getting a smaller car that has better gas miles per gallon will save you more money in the long run. But like with our family and 4 kids, we can't always fit in small cars like that. So we need bigger cars, which makes gas more expensive. But if you're already not going, like if you're going on small roads around town, then the price or the speed that you're going isn't going to make a big difference in how many miles you get. So that was kind of the extent of what I was able to research.
I
you.
can chip in on that as well.
Sure.
The bigger the motor you have, more gas you're probably going to run through. The faster you accelerate, the more your gas is going to go through. And if you are really care about the gas economy and how much gas you're using, the best option would be get a hybrid car.
Thank you. That's awesome. Kenna, tell me about the nursery for your baby.
I don't want to. What's the child's name? Can I? Shut up. Okay. Things you need to put in your nursery. I researched baby shower registry list. This will tell us what to put in your nursery and the cost of it all. Use parental discretion when purchasing all of these items. To a new parent, all of this list seems very necessary, whereas to a more experienced parent, some of these things you may not need at all. Once purchased, some of these items will last you a very long time. There was like 30 items on the list, and like half of them were not necessary. I read them to my mom and she's like, no, you don't need that. But There's things like insurance for the baby. Well, anyways, the total for everything on the list was almost $2,000, which in my opinion is a bit excessive, but I'm not going to read the whole list because that will take forever.
Okay. I need to know if the tube that you stick up your baby's nose so that you can suck their boogers out like it's a straw, is that on your list? What kind of research are you doing, Kenna? All right. Taylor, keep that on your thing. Lifespans of married people.
Alrighty. Is the average lifespan more when you have a spouse? Depending on what research you do and where you look, you can get various answers to this question. According to Marital Status and Longevity in the United States Population, an article by Robert K. Kaplan and Richard G. Cronick it's really hard to tell. But their research concludes that in most cases, Americans with a spouse live up to 10% longer than without a spouse. People in the age range from 19 to 34 without spouses die mostly outside forces, such as disease or chronic illness. So it's truly a difficult task to tell for sure. According to WebMD, the definite answer is yes. Having a spouse allows you to live longer. They say having a spouse encourages good health care, such as eating properly and bathing regularly. Men have fewer skills when it comes to self-care than women do, quote unquote. Not my opinion. This is like fact, okay? It also discourages illnesses caused by loneliness. There are a number of them too, such as depression. Sometimes something that today has greatly impacted
Samuel's favorite word.
Samuel's favorite word is depression. All right, that's all I have. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Taylor. Lydia, you were going to talk about your choice of topics that you missed while you were at camp. So what are we hearing about today?
So I decided to do mine from week 2, which is research the services of pet extras like obedience school and donkey daycare. So for this, I looked at one website and I wrote down as a goal to list all the services that they will have. So this is for a place called Central Park, USA, and I think it has different areas all over the country, something like that. I didn't research that part. They at least have one place. So I know that they have an enrichment doggy care program. It is tailored to the dog's needs and preferences. There is personalized attention activity and rest for the dogs. The staff there are dog experts, especially in positive reinforcement approach, which is not punishing the dogs, I believe, but rewarding them when they do good. It's a safe and clean facility. It has been trusted and for over 20 years, so it's been there for a while. A good thing about it is that you don't have to worry about your dog being home alone and then getting anxious and then destroying furniture. They can be in small or large play groups to match your dog's needs and personality. There's also group play skills for practicing important skills such as going through doors and gates quietly, and group sitting, I think it said. There's also rest period enrichment to help dogs relax and recharge. And then there's also one-on-one enrichment sessions to give extra attention to the dogs.
Thank you. I read recently that pet care is one of the #1 improving industries, lucrative industries right now. So Chase, talk to us about tax refunds.
All right. Well, the process of a tax refund is you return or give what you earn yearly, a percentage of what you earn yearly to taxes. Then the IRS or whoever does it will look through everything and then approve it, make sure you don't do a bunch of illegal stuff with your money or something, I don't know. And then you get your money back, and then it says most of them are issued within the first 20 days of it, but I don't think that's true. There's deductions on taxes, like if you have kids, it's $2,000 on average, I think. It's $2,000 per kid, 17 and under. And you get deductions from certain taxes like house taxes, all that. Charity is another deduction. Your medical bills, medicine, whatever, and your mortgage is all. And then most people use their tax refunds on savings or to pay debt. 4 or 5 people use it for debt.
Thank you. Thank you. Dave Ramsey had a name for tax refunds. Do any of you remember it from the reading today? Lydia?
I think he had something bad to say about them, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
Rin?
It was like a paid back loan to the government or something like that.
Mhm. Dave Ramsey, in his article, he believes that, well, the taxes get withheld from your salary. It's part of what takes you from gross to net income. And the government holds on to it for you for the year and then gives what you don't actually need to pay them back. So he says it's an interest-free loan that you're giving to the government. So Elijah, is your voice, I'm assuming your voice is not good enough to present, is that right? Or do you want to give it a go? Don't do it? Okay, no problem. I'm just glad you're here. Maggie, talk to us about tidy appearances.
Okay. So, first off, tidy appearances are very important in trying to get a job, because if you come to a job interview with your hair looking like, I don't know, like crazy, like you just rolled out of bed and like you did not try to make yourself presentable, they will think that you are gonna look like that throughout the whole time that you work there, and that you won't be respectful for their dress code. So I have a couple of tips for everybody just to go if you're wanting to go to a job interview. One, like wash up before you go to a job interview, because you want to look like you're not, like you want to look nice, because you want people to be able to, like, you want them to be able to say, oh, that person looked nice, and like I know that they'll be like, I guess, presentable in my, like, as I'm, yeah, words aren't coming out of my mouth, correct. Wear appropriate clothing, like don't wear just like baggy like basketball shorts and then like a baggy t-shirt. Like wear stuff that you would want to be like kind of fancy clothes, not fancy clothes, but like kind of
Professional attire.
yeah. And then check your like dress code kind of thing. There's for your job, like if you're working in an office, look for and see what the office clothing would be, like what the office dress code would be. And also, you don't have to like look good to like do your job good, but people that if you look good, you feel good, and like if you look good, then people will be more I can't remember the word that I was gonna use, but like they will want you to come and work for them if you look good, other than them saying, no, I don't really want you to work here because you don't look like you weren't here and you looked like you cared really that much.
Your story made me think of going to a youth conference a long time ago. And we were walking outside the area and David Crowder was there. And I did not know what David Crowder looked like. And I thought that the man looked like he had fleas because he was so unkempt in his appearance. And it was just, do you guys know who David Crowder is? Okay, go look up a picture of David Crowder, like circa 2005. I don't know what he looks like now, but around 2005, he had an extremely bushy, he looked like he had fleas. To me, I was very judgmental. I don't believe he does have fleas, but the tidy appearance is a thing. Okay, everybody has done their action card report,
I
right?
have a thing about the like how you present yourself.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, it's proven fact, which is kind of sad, but the better you look, the more chance you have for success, which is kind of not fair, but it's just the way the world works.
It also matters if you are in a job that has a salary starting range. The more professional you look and the more competent you look, the higher your starting salary will be. Yeah, Ren?
And it just, if you take the time to clean up and look nice, it just shows that you were willing to put forth the effort to even come for the job, and you weren't like dragged here by your stepmother who told you you need a job. You know, you're there of your own volition and you actually want a job.
Yeah,
And I think it means it a lot to an employer.
yeah.
Just stepmother or any mother?
It looks like the Maxwell crowd has something to say about this.
I was just gonna say, he looks like a person from Duck Dynasty. He looks like he would say Jack.
Exactly.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that was prior to Duck Dynasty even being a thing. I had never seen anyone who I'd never seen, and it blew my mind. And Isaiah's like, that's David Crowder. And I was like, why? So, okay.
Look like he'd have fleas? No, he just looks like he'd have a country accent.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
I think Duck Dynasty has influenced you all. I really do.
He looks like he slept in an alley.
He does, but you know what? I will continue to say he is one of my favorite musical artists, and I love what comes out of his brain. And that's what I can say about that.
So you don't like the appearance, but you love the music.
Yes, and that does tell you that I am actually more godly because God judges the heart, not the outward appearance. Right?
I looked at the picture of him and he sort of looked like a werewolf or something. I don't know.
He was sporting that beard before that beard became a common thing. No Shave November did not exist at that time. Duck Dynasty didn't exist. And then here was David Crowder on Au Natural. It was pretty amazing. So, okay. We're going to move on to action cards and drawings. I have added all of the new expansion pack cards in here. So I want to make sure that you all opened up that Word document that was attached to the bottom of your email. Lydia.
Does that mean that we can now make expansions on houses?
You are just very into that. If your action, did you read through the action cards?
I didn't get to yet.
That's okay. There's like 180 of them now. It's a lot. One of those is expand your house and remodel, but I don't think that's what you were actually asking me. And so I would like to crush your hopes and dreams and say, no. Ryan.
Did you add any more get fired cards?
I did not add any more get fired cards. I felt like that was extensive enough. But I could put some in that are just labeled for Ryan only. Would that work for you? No? Okay. Lydia?
I just wanted to double check and make sure that you can't send off kids to college or boarding school or adopting that. Is that definitely?
No, you cannot do that. You are stuck with the kids you got. Love the one you're with. You cannot sell them for $40,000 each.
Hard to love 6 kids. Well, I
What
don't
about the
mind.
black market?
Sell their organs instead.
I feel like we're going down a direction that would not be God honoring. What do you think? Tyler?
Okay, so with like all of our houses and everything, do we have to keep paying for them every year, or is this just like until a certain point?
So in real life, the average mortgage is a 30-year mortgage, and this class is 16 years long. So you're paying that every year. Any other questions? I feel like there's a rebellion afoot. You guys don't like the way it's turning out with your monies. Ooh, poor little students.
I'm going in debt now.
Debt is a stinky thing, isn't it?
I'm
I
beating
can't
you.
even
I'm beating you.
afford
in
this
debt.
new
I'm
house.
beating you.
Everyone
I'm more
talked at
debt than
once
the
and I
rest of
got
you and I
nothing.
win.
I love you all. Should I go alphabetically or should I draw your names for it? What do you want to do?
Do backwards.
Okay, backwards. Okay, give me a minute. That causes me to think harder. Tyler, that means you're first. You just wanted to go first, didn't you? I see how it is. All right. Go organic. Pay $10,000 to the bank.
Can I burn all of it instead? We at least get enjoyment from it.
Who are you? Why are you asking me these questions?
Good question.
Go organic. Research the ways that foods have been affected by genetically modified farming practices.
Every way possible.
Okay, got it. And that was pay $10,000. That means Taylor is next. Hey, Snowbank Rescue. Collect $10,000 from every player.
Thank you. Hey,
No.
Hey, I just passed my driver's test. I don't get stuck in snowbanks.
It was the real blizzard that came through. Everybody is stuck having to get Taylor to pull him out of the ditch. All right, who's after Taylor backwards? That's Samuel. Oh, you're gonna like this one.
what am I researching though?
Oh, well, why are you asking me these questions, Taylor?
In
You
between?
are researching. How much do people usually pay for roadside assistance? Samuel, control the pitch. Collect $10,000 from the bank. And research what it takes to be a soccer referee in your area, as well as the average pay for the game. Is this a job that's feasible for a teenager? Consider the trend toward referee abuse and how spectators can be a positive influence on the game.
I don't think you even have to research anything.
I know, right?
Okay.
You didn't get fired.
Ren, you're a professional cornhole player. Collect $10,000 from the bank.
I do not know why, but I did not know that was a professional.
Well, so do you know what the definition of professional is? It's anyone who gets paid for anything. So we actually have a professional scrambled egg maker in our household because one day one of our children was desperate for scrambled eggs and paid someone else to make them eggs. It was $1, but we have a professional scrambled egg maker. Pro. All right, Ren. Research the types of scholarships that are available for non-athletic collegiate competitive events. All right, Ryan. Are you gonna get fired, Ryan? Okay, no. You have a gas price savings. Collect $40,000 from the bank. Research tips on saving on gas costs. For example, is there a time of the day when it's better to pump your gas? Mia. Make balloon animals. Collect $10,000 from every player.
Come on, my kids gotta eat.
Research the art of balloon animals. Where are balloon animal artists employed? What is the average pay for a balloon artist? What are the costs associated with this career? All right, Maggie. Handyman on the weekends. Collect $50,000 from any other player.
Please, not me.
Duquetta.
I paid for your school. I paid for your school, Maggie.
Duquetta.
Kenna, I'm not gonna do you.
Thank you.
No, Duquetta.
Who's it gonna be, Maggie?
I'm thinking. I don't know.
All right, I'll come back to you.
I can pick.
Is it possible to earn a significant income by providing handyman services? What services should only be offered if you are licensed and bonded? Okay, do you still need more time to think? All right. Lydia. Do you feel that quivering in your tummy?
I just don't want to have to.
Oh my gosh, Lydia,
What?
remodel your home. Pay $50,000 to the bank. You got the remodel card.
Oh,
There is only one.
You rigged
but what
that.
does that mean?
Okay, so what it means, hold on, let me read it to you. Oh, that's a minus 50. So you're gonna have to pay 50,000, but research home updates that add the most overall value to a home. This card can be used to redeem for one housing occupancy fine. So for 1 year, you can use this and not pay an occupancy fine.
But she did pay the occupancy fine.
Yeah, but it could happen again. I think she's in trouble right now, aren't you?
No. I'm just
No?
kidding.
Okay, well, you could sell it to someone.
Well, she didn't really get out of the occupancy fine because she still paid 50,000.
Well, that is one way to look at it. But she wouldn't have to change immediately. So if she was on the sofa, she could stay on the sofa for another week. So maybe it's absolutely worthless to you. But I think it's super ironic that this is the thing you were asking about and you got it. I did not plan that.
Just asking, how much would you be willing to sell it for?
How much would you be willing to pay?
I would like my question answered first, please.
I would like my answer first.
My answer question first. She said my answer question first.
How about I don't know, 70,000?
Okay, not gonna happen. Thank you.
Okay, Kenna. What's it worth to you? I mean, if you're hanging out for the penthouse, it might be worth the 70,000 for you. Okay, Kenna, the dryer fire. You forgot to clean the lint screen. Pay 40,000 to the bank.
Why couldn't you have her sponsor a race or something?
Have what?
I know, right? I want a cool one where I have to pay $40,000.
Research.
I paid a lot more than $40,000 on that race.
There should be one that says go to space and you have to pay like 100.
I will continue to accept action card ideas because I tell you what, it is really fun to do and you guys have good ideas. So
Make a
dryer
career out of
fire.
an astronaut.
Huh?
Make an astronaut career.
Well, text it to me, respond over email because you know I'm not going to remember it just from our conversation right now. Put it in writing. Use Grammarly. Make sure it's not plagiarized, and then I will consider your statements. Research the cost of buying a new clothes dryer versus repairing the machine. What are the best ways to dry your clothes from a convenience perspective? What about from an economical perspective?
Is this one of the new action cards or an old one?
It's a new one. But I will say the document that I sent you has all of them in one place. So you don't have to go back and forth as long as you're using the new one. Elijah, you robbed a bank and then you got caught. Pay $50,000 to the bank. Research what happens to a person's assets when they are convicted of a crime and serve time in jail. I want to know what you were like wanting to buy. So if you could also include that in your paper, I think that would be fabulous.
What will happen to his family?
All right, Chase, you're the last one. You got into a fender bender. Pay $30,000 to the bank.
My kids are gonna starve to death.
It's not my problem.
Minus 6 kids.
Well, they better fix the car for them then. Research the average cost of a fender bender vehicle accident. What are the average repair costs? How much does a driver's insurance change after getting in an accident? Oh, look at this. Kenna, make sure you're looking at the chat because Lydia's willing to wheel and deal with you. Okay. Does anyone, are we good? Action cards are all good. Oh, Maggie. I ignored you. Oh, you decided. You decided. Who are you taking $50,000 from?
I feel very bad doing this, but I think that I'm gonna do it to Elijah because he's the highest and Kenna helped me with my college, so I feel like it would be unfair if I did it from Kenna.
That's not fair. You're just doing it because Elijah's making more money than you.
No, I promise I'm not.
Yeah, communist.
That's okay. He needed you to it's for handyman services. It's probably to make sure that you're taking care of the pool correctly. Ryan?
So, you know how I have to tithe 10% of my income? Is that income or do I plus that with my action card?
Okay. That's a very good question. And that brings up something else that I wanted to pull together. Oh, I forgot to hit screen share. Let me pull up the screen share for a minute. Okay, are you seeing this fantastic little document? Okay, look down here on week 5. Week 5, we have everything the way it's been arranged since the very beginning. This week, however, our reading and everything has told us that we should pay our tithe first and reorder things, correct? So we are going to try excuse me, the little document.
How much do kids cost yearly if you get 80% off?
14,000 times 80%.
So
Hold
each
on a
kid costs
second.
14,000.
Hold on.
Wait, is 14,000 a year or just 14,000?
14,000 per kid a year. So, oh, it's actually, you would get, if you were only one, it's actually, you're only paying 20%, which is $2,800 a year for your child. Okay, so if you look here, I have reordered the order with which to pay things based on what we read in our reading this week. Okay, so when you're doing your annual financial statement, take a look at the order that's on the spreadsheet and figure it from there. Last week, you all had a couple of you who wanted to go to one income starting this week. And that was Chase, Kenna, Mia, and Tyler. You can change that every single week. So do any of you want to change to one or to two salaries?
I also have another question.
Oop. Hold on,
If-
because I can't see you when I start sharing screen. Let me stop sharing my screen.
Does everything go down 80%?
Just your childcare cost.
All right.
Mia,
How much will it cost per kid if you go to 2 incomes?
14,000 per kid,
What is it if you're on 1 income?
28,000 per kid. No, 2,800 per kid, 2,800 per kid.
Oh, that makes a big difference.
Wait, I'm just saying this over again because I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. If you switch to 2 incomes, it's 14,000 per kid. If you just have 1 income, it's 200,000. 200.
2,800. 2,800 per child.
That's why my thing was off.
So there are a ton of moving parts to this, and I apologize for that because it's taking me watching the video recordings every single week to figure it out for you, and I'm still sometimes missing things. So for real, keep track of those numbers, and we need to make sure that we're doing it, we're on the same page. Lydia,
I just want to know who is in debt right now.
As
Ma-
of last week, Maggie, Ryan, and Taylor are in the negative.
How about as of this week?
I haven't figured out this week because I have to include all the action cards and all of that, and I can't do it quickly enough while we're all on the call together. Tyler,
If I re-roll for my career, do I have to, like, if I don't like the choices I've been given, can I just stay with my same job?
yes, but you are going to sacrifice one of your career roles.
Okay. Well, I need to re-roll. I can't afford all that.
Anybody want to trade jobs with me? Let you be a dental hygienist. I'll be a doctor.
How much do you get paid?
Okay,
7,000.
all right, Tyler wants to roll for a career choice. That's what we're going first. If anyone else wants to roll for a career choice, we'll do it right after. Okay, let me back up so I have some rolling space. 4 choices. Athlete, inventor, customer service representative, and accountant. Okay, think about it and let me know. If you don't switch your careers, then you obviously wouldn't have any schooling debt. Okay, does anyone else want to roll for a career choice? Okay, moving on. Are you ready to answer? Do you already know?
I have a question.
2 plus 1, so I have 6 kids. Let me go get another career.
Hold on. I'm asking Tyler, do you already have your answer?
Which one has the most pay? It's the inventor, correct?
No, it's the accountant. They're 100,000.
Oh, switch to him.
Okay. All right, it's gonna cost you 100,000 in tuition. So make sure you record that, but you have switched and that will be reflected on week 7. Don't do it for this year, do it for next year. Okay.
So I get my, from the
What?
inventor. So I get
What?
my pay from the inventor this week, correct?
Yes. For week 6, you have your inventor pay. I thought you said adventure and I couldn't figure out what adventure are we on? I want to go. Samuel, you had your hand up before.
Can I roll for housing?
Yes. Let me switch. No one else is doing career changes, so I'm putting that away. Housing. Okay. 3 choices. Friend's couch, tiny house, suburban dream. Does that solve your problem? Okay,
So do I have to pay the rent of my current house and the house that I switched to if I swap? Like if I swapped,
if you swap from your current, so your current house is week 6, your new house should be week 7. So you would only pay 1 rent for the year.
okay.
Okay, Lydia,
I would like to give 5K to anyone who was in debt as of last week.
okay, you want to give $5,000 to the people who were in debt at the end of last week?
$5,000 to each person.
Well, that was a very kind charity offering. So that means
You're my new favorite person in the world.
Maggie, Ryan, and Taylor, do you accept her offering?
I accept.
Okay, thank you. So +5 to Maggie, Ryan, Taylor, -15 from Lydia. All right, thank you. Who else had a hand up? Kenna?
I just had a question. Can you use both of your career roles in like one class session?
Mia?
Is housing like your career? Like you can roll as many times as you want, and if you don't find something that you don't like better than that, you can stick with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
But then can I roll for housing?
Mm-hmm. 2 options. Farmhouse and tiny house. It's your extremes.
Much. I'll stick with what I got.
Okay,
Does Lydia count as a philanthropist now?
I think she should. You should put a plaque up. I expect someone to have a plaque that they can display in our next class in Lydia's honor.
I volunteer, Maggie.
All right, Rin.
I would like to roll for housing, please.
Ooh. I don't know what's up with my dice. I feel like they're biased and they're going against us. A starter home or a farmhouse. Samuel, you decided not to switch, right?
I would like to swap to the farmhouse.
Oh, Rin's going for the farmhouse.
No.
We're
what I
just
was
all
going
gonna
to
end
say,
up at the farmhouse.
Miss Veal, what I was actually going to say is that I do want to swap to the friend's couch. Since my
If you're gonna
family's
pay the
already
50,000 anyway, you might as well pay less for it, right?
exactly.
Think about the children.
That's what I'm doing.
That's
I'm
why
just
there's
sitting on my grandma's
outdoors.
couch.
Okay, let's be honest here. If you have little kids and you all only got the kids last week, so like what, they might be 1, you could totally stack them in a dresser.
What
Oh,
I'm
no.
doing is I'm
Mia
living on
and,
my
like-
grandma's couch because I can't afford $100,000 house.
You want to roll it?
Make them go camping in the
No, I
backyard.
can't afford it.
Oh.
Wait, hold
Ryan,
on.
you got your hand up.
May I roll for a new house?
You may. It fell on the ground. Please pause. Three choices. The cabana, the windmill, or the tiny house.
No, I'm not gonna switch.
Okay. Come here. come here and show the rest of the class what you're interrupting for. Can you guys see what Max has? This is what we're doing.
Is that a rat?
Minecraft and kittens. Oh, Lydia's got her cat. All right. Are there any other things, roles, shifts of career, anything else we need to get done? Are the people who went to one salary last week staying with one salary, or is there any switcherooing happening with salaries?
I need to reroll for housing.
Tyler is going to re-roll for housing.
Well, I have to.
You have 6 choices, my friend.
I'm
Let's
happy.
see what we've got here. You've got a basement, the suburban dream, the farmhouse, the family house, the beach hut, and the eco house.
Farmhouse.
I am making a prediction. We are all going to end up in farmhouses eventually.
But
I'm
not
too
all
poor
of you
for that.
need the farmhouse.
Exactly.
Well, are we gonna get more kids down the whatever?
Not in the game. I mean, it's just not how it's written.
I'm too poor for a
Love the
farmhouse.
one you're with. Okay. So moving forward, I will keep Chase, Kenna, Mia, and Tyler at 1 salary, correct? And everyone else is on 2 salaries.
Are there any more questions? Because I'm doing something really quickly that would determine that. But I could just talk to you after the class, maybe.
Okay. Would you guys like me to leave this meeting going so you can talk to each other and harass one another? Or shall we just say it's been great and talk to you on Tuesday? Rin's like, I need to go. Once again, I'm sorry that we ran over. I appreciate you all. I will work on all of this and send out the spreadsheet with the email as quick as I can. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Captain America is better than Iron Man.
You keep saying, oh, the cat would like to say goodbye too.
Ryan, you're stupid.
Max, bring one out to me. No. Max, please.
Why are we
What's
not
your-
leaving yet?
What's your kitty's
I'm
name?
bye. I gotta go, bro.
Mother, I think I want to switch to
You
2
can't
salaries.
switch. I just ended class.
What's the
Well, I
kiss-
told you I was thinking about it and I needed like 2 seconds.
Half the people are gone. Lydia's here with her cat, but the cat doesn't have voting rights. You have to do it after.
Ugh.
Love you. Goodbye.